I'm Brian.
I'm Vanessa. This is Maisie, and we own CrossFit Jungle Gym.
Where it all started. We started CrossFit Jungle Gym because we had a true passion for fitness. We started from nothing, and probably what most would consider less than nothing. At one point, I was down to $1.96 in my bank account. I had a loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter, and a box of Bisquick. And that's all I had to survive on for the next 2 weeks. At that point, we were just getting started. By the time we had $50, we spent it on forming an LLC. Then the next couple bucks we bought a kettlebell and a med ball, and we started training people in the park or at home, wherever we could train them. I was working, or I took a job working full time, and so did Vanessa. But I can recall our first boot camp that we did, so first group training that we did, and we made $175 from drop-ins, and we went to the diner, and we were drooling over how rich we were at the moment, and we started from nowhere. After that, like when the weather got cold, we had enough people that were following us that we rented a ballroom for 3 hours a week. And we carried equipment from our second story apartment living room, and we drove it after work to the firehouse, and then we carried it to the second story ballroom and carried it down and drove it back home and carried it back up to the living room. And we did that, 3 days a week after working all day. And at that point, when we were just getting started, we invested every minute and every cent to make ends meet and try and grow the business we had such a passion for. So while we were using the ballroom as our only means or our only facility, being in a ballroom had its own unique problems, and one of them was we couldn't store any equipment, and we certainly couldn't have a pull-up rig that could stay in the ballroom. So we came up with a solution, and it came up out of necessity because we really wanted to participate fully in the CrossFit for Hope workout. And so we built a portable pull-up rig that we could set up and take down in about half an hour, and we could take it into the ballroom, and it wouldn't damage anything, and it wouldn't be permanent because it couldn't be. So after we did the CrossFit for Hope, our members were so excited that we did such a thing that they said, you have to post it to the main site. You have to send it to them. This is way too cool not to. And we did. So we submitted it, and a couple of days later, the main site published our picture. And it wasn't but a day after that, some stranger, reached out saying that they needed to overcome a similar situation. Well, not exactly the same situation, but they needed a portable pull-up rig. That person was Chris Cooper. At the time, it didn't really mean anything to me. It was somebody who had the same problem, and I was glad to help. And we were pretty proud of our little rinky-dink portable pull-up rig. So I went hard to work to build the schematic because I didn't have a schematic. And in return, he sent me his first book. And so began the relationship between CrossFit Jungle Gym and Two Brain, and more importantly, Chris and myself. After getting the book, needless to say, I was excited to get a book because where we were at business-wise, we certainly needed some help, and I was willing to take any free help that we could get. So I read it several times over, and we put to practice everything that we could from the book. After reading the book and putting to action some of those things, our business continued to grow on not just our passion, but now on some systems. Through our efforts and through some of the help from Chris's book, we were making enough profit to cover my personal expenses, so I quit my full-time job. It was like a moment of like pure fear and joy, and Man, what exciting times. Anyways, we continue to grow on our efforts, and again, advice from Chris's book. Over the next couple of years, we had enough success to buy a house, to afford to get married, go on a honeymoon, enjoy some of our lives, and even though we were making reasonable money, our probably the biggest thing that we didn't have was time. And I can remember many nights really, where we just had spent the last 4 or 5 years spending every minute on this thing, on the business. And I can remember being at the gym at 9 o'clock at night, just trying to get our workout in after everybody else, and being super stressed. And so that was something that we wanted to improve on, and we needed to improve on. But after we got married, got back from our honeymoon, it wasn't more than 2 months after that, we got some great news. And we knew that it was time to get mentorship. Vanessa was pregnant. I knew it was the time to get some help. Our gym, we were good. But when you have news like that, it can't just be good. It has to be great. We knew we needed more time, and we knew we needed more money. And now, instead of trying to figure out on our own with lower amount of risk, it was time to get some professional help, and that's what we did. So what it was basically went to twobrain.com, immediately booked a call with Chris for 2 weeks later, so I had time to change my mind, and Chris sent me an email or text message 5 minutes later saying, I got some time this afternoon, and well, I did too. After that, we started, I don't know, it must have been a week later, and everything has changed since then, and can't wait to tell you more. Since starting with Two Brain, our business has changed dramatically, and it's been awesome. I mean, we've been with Two Brain at this moment for about 1 year and 3 months, and our staff knows what we're trying to accomplish. We have staff. Our business provides a life-changing service, and it always has. But now it provides it to way more people who value it more than ever before. Without Two Brain, we wouldn't be changing as many lives as we are. Our business has just become a better tool to positively impact the world around us in every way. I mean, we have the system to do it. We have the staff to do it. We have the vision to do it. And without Two Brain, we wouldn't have been able to put all of those things together nearly as fast as we have. I mean, it all manifests itself in the amount of time we need to spend at our business and the amount of effort that we put in. And ultimately, the clients show with their money that we're doing a great job, and we want to keep doing that. Two Brain, since we've joined with Two Brain, our lives have changed significantly too. The revenue that we've built from our business has been substantial. We've been able to pay ourselves $40,000 more annually than before when we started Two Brain, and I mean, that's it's incredible to me, and I know that number is going to continue to grow. Partially because it needs to, and partially because we're still driven, we're still getting better, and we're still with the Two Brain mentor. And that sort of money gives us the flexibility to live more confidently. We know that we can provide for our child and not have to count every penny to stay on budget. We know that, hey, we had a super long day. You want to order out? Yeah, it's no problem. Or, hey, you want to go visit your parents? It's no problem. That's what the financial flexibility and confidence that Two Brain has helped provide us to be able to do. Another thing that we've been able to do is more confidently be able to delegate some of our duties to other people. And most of that comes from being able to build a system so that people understand what they need to do to be successful. And Two Brain has helped us build those systems and put those in place. And being able to do that then gives us so much more time to grow the business, to take time for ourselves. And, you know, in our instance, that means we get to spend nearly every minute, Vanessa or I, with our daughter Maisie, who's just 11 months old. And without that sort of time, we would be nowhere close to the life that we want to live. We want to be very involved in our child's life. Like before Two Brain, we coached 90% of the services at our gym. 90%. I mean, to get to where we want to be on that amount of time, we would have had to work 70 hours a week. Now we're down under 50%, and I want that number to keep shrinking. The total number of services keeps going up, and our percentage of them keeps going down, and ultimately our hours spent there is going down. What's great is it's not over yet. It's not over. We still have direction. We still have, goals to accomplish, and we've accomplished our main primary goal to get the flexibility and financials in order to get Vanessa out of the corporate world. And it's been it's a huge victory for us. And I know that we're still a little nervous about it, just like when I first left. But we're already hitting the road running, and we're super excited about 2019. So what's next for the Zimmermans and CrossFit Jungle Gym? Well, we're far from done. But CrossFit Jungle Gym has some hefty revenue goals for 2019 and beyond. We know that our Two Brain mentor is going to help us make those happen. For the Zimmermans, in 2019, we plan to take 3 real vacations. We're going to upgrade one of our vehicles. We're going to completely replace Vanessa's former salary. And once again, we get to continue to raise our child on our terms. Thanks, Two Brain Business. You've changed our lives.
And a special thanks to our mentor, Jason Williams.